Yo, what is up, guys? JrzSaiyan here. Let's talk about the NFL playoffs. As y'all know, the wild card round's happening this weekend. This weekend, we're going to be seeing Seattle against Dallas, Philadelphia against Chicago, Baltimore Ravens against the LA Chargers, and the Indianapolis Colts against the Houston Texans. Really, really big matchups. If y'all don't know, I am a Seahawks fan, so I'm rooting for the Seahawks. This weekend I'll be in Dallas rooting for the Seahawks. This past weekend I was in Seattle for the Seattle Cardinals game, and it was amazing. But let's talk about the NFL playoffs and my prediction and who will go to the Super Bowl. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys my prediction, my actual prediction, and what I would love to happen, what I would at least love to see happen, and my actual prediction as I see the teams have been playing until now. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the NFC, Seattle, Dallas. I do see Seattle winning, not as a biased answer, but Seattle's just a better team against Dallas. Seattle is the number one rushing team. Dallas does pride in running the ball with Ezekiel Elliott, but I think they're like the 10th rushing team in the league, and Seattle's the number one rushing team. Because they're pretty much kind of the same when it comes to how they play football, which is running the ball and trying to have big plays on offense. But the only problem there is the quarterback position and the receivers, right? So Seattle, we did play Dallas early on in the season and we did win. But there was, factors that come into play this time that wasn't last time. For example, we have Justin Britt this time. We have Doug Baldwin this time. Where we were missing some offensive linemen. We didn't have KJ Wright. I mean, it was just a lot of things. But we also did have Earl Thomas. Now we don't have Earl Thomas, so we're missing that in the secondary. And Earl Thomas is a Hall of Fame caliber player from the Legion of Boom defense, So there's a lot of things. Also, Dallas, they added on Amari Cooper, which is a plus. They do have the emerging tight ends that they've had playing the last game. They had a tight end that scored like 3 touchdowns. Just things like that. Their defense has been playing better, but when it comes down to it, both teams have been playing better since the first time they saw each other. But Russell Wilson against Dak Prescott, it's by a landslide. Is Russell Wilson winning against Dak Prescott? Dak just hasn't been consistent enough as a quarterback for me to overshadow him and put him over Russell Wilson. Also, that O-line of the Cowboys is more banged up than the Seattle O-line. We do have DJ Fluker, who's coming back off of resting last week, my boy DJ, and he is playing, so we are getting Jermaine Ifedi back to tackle position. But yeah, I mean, just things like that. So Chris Carson against Ezekiel Elliott. Like I said, the O-line of the Dallas is hurt, so it can vary. And because they are hurt, I do see Frank Clark having a big, big day. And I do also see Dallas's Van Der Esch having a big day there at the linebacker position, because when we last met, Sean Lee was the one playing, and Van Der Esch is getting like 50% of the reps or something, 40% of the reps. But he is playing about 100% of the reps now. So I do see him having a huge day, but I just don't see Seattle's firepower matching up against Dallas's firepower, or actually the other way around, because Amari Cooper, yes, he did emerge for like 2 games, 3 games, but the last 3 games, he really hasn't done anything. He's had like 30 yards receiving each game or something like that. I was reading the facts about it, and he did come off hot with like 200-yard games, but then he just died down. And he really hasn't done much. So I do see Amari Cooper not being too big of a factor. If he had a breakout game, I do see that being a big part of why Dallas would win, but I just don't see Dallas winning. Ezekiel Elliott, of course, is the biggest factor. If he can run, it'll be hard to stop him. Just like if Dallas cannot stop Chris Carson, it's going to be a little hard to stop the Seattle Seahawks, because that stuff's play action. And the biggest thing for Seattle is our receivers are way better than Dallas's. Tyler Lockett is an incredible receiver, having a historic season with a perfect passer rating and about 900 yards receiving and a bunch of touchdowns. Doug Baldwin's such a reliable target. He always will be. So that's two top receivers right there, versus just Amari Cooper, and I guess you could say Cole Beasley's like a poor man's Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's a lot faster, a lot more reliable, and like it's not just me saying it as a Seattle fan, but based on facts alone. So I do see Seattle winning. I do see it being a close game because they both run the ball a lot. But if Seattle, the key to the game will be Bobby Wagner will be everywhere, and Frank Clark is going to make a huge impact. And that D-line, I do see the defenses of Seattle being better than Dallas' defense when it comes to bringing pressure. I do see Puna being big. Jaron Reed and Frank Clark, they've been huge. Deion Jordan and Jacob Martin will be also big when it comes to pass rush. But Dallas has a really scary D-line too, and that linebacker with Jalen Smith and Vendors is going to be tough to run against. So it's really going to come down to the quarterback play, which is why I see Dallas losing to Seattle and Seattle beating Dallas, because Russell Wilson is just a better quarterback to Dak Prescott. So I do see Seattle moving on to the LA Rams. All right, Philadelphia, Chicago. Nick Foles has really turned the Eagles around. And the possibility of him getting to another Super Bowl it's there. He's in the playoffs, but that Bears defense, and in Chicago at home, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough for Nick Foles to beat it. So I can really go into depth with the whole Seattle Dallas, but I just see Khalil Mack and that defense just being a little too much to handle for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I wish the best for Nick Foles, but I just see Mitchell Trubisky, Tariq Cohen, and all of them just having a really, really decent game, and that defense just tearing it up. They're on fire right now. So I do see the Bears winning the game, going to the next round to the New Orleans Saints. We're going to go with the LA Chargers, Baltimore Ravens. So a lot of people do not like Lamar Jackson. I, for one, love how he's changing the way quarterbacks are being looked at. He's not changing it, but he's just going against what everyone thinks. He's like RG3 but 2.0. He's like Michael Vick in modern day. He's really running the ball a lot. He's not getting banged up as much as people wish he would. I don't actually think he's getting hurt at all right now. He did get that one banged up play where RG3 went in for the last couple snaps against the Chiefs, but other than that, he's been great. And he's been doing better and better every single week. And that Baltimore defense is stout. It's not something to play around with. I wish Phillip Rivers the best, but he just hasn't had the best record in the playoffs, and I just don't see him being Baltimore. I do see Lamar Jackson, as he's been doing throughout the season, getting better and better every game. He's going to play really, really good in this playoff game. It's just really hard to handle someone who's just so fast and elusive that you blink and he's gone. He's got a first down or he's got a touchdown. That last game was insane, seeing really how fast he can really be, how quick he can be, just like we've been seeing every game. But it's just getting better and better. So I do see him being better as a passer, as he's been getting better, and I also see him running the ball a lot better. And I see that Baltimore defense really getting around him and making this win happen. So I do see Baltimore moving on to play New England and Indianapolis Colts and Houston Texans. I do, as much as the Indianapolis Colts are on fire, quote unquote, air quotations, right? Right now, I don't see them beating the Houston Texans. The Colts have not really beat any really good teams and won any really big games because they just haven't, and they've lost to all the good really teams that they play against. So I just don't see the Colts beating them. I just don't. I just see Deshaun Watson, Hopkins being way too much. I see J.J. Watt, David Clowney, and that defense, Eric Reed, and all of them just being too much for the Colts. It's gonna be a close game. But if I'm putting it to quarterback play, I just have faith in Deshaun Watson. He's a winner. He's a gamer. He's a winner, and he's gonna come out and beat the Colts in a close game. And they're gonna move on to play Kansas City. All right, Dallas against LA Rams. The last two times, Dallas, Seattle against the LA Rams. Right, The last two times Seattle's placed the LA Rams, the Rams, divisional rivals, we've lost. It's been close games, but we've lost. And also, we were. I can make the argument that we really didn't have our identity any of the times we played them. So being a new Seattle Seahawks, not new but rejuvenated, back to our best playing of December and all that, and getting back into the actual Seattle Seahawks team, getting back into the play style. I do see Seattle rallying and beating the Rams in a close game, with the O-line playing better, with the running backs playing better, with the corners playing better. I just see coming off a hot win against Dallas. I just see the momentum carrying on, and the Rams have never really won something in the playoffs for me to be like, well, the Rams are good, in the regular season. You just can't say that. It just the playoff teams are playoff winners, and in the playoffs it's just a whole different atmosphere, a whole different momentum. Seattle, New Orleans, New England. It's just those teams are the playoff teams. So it's really hard for me to say the Rams are just gonna come out and blow out the Seahawks, because it's a divisional game pretty much, and in the playoffs, so it's not gonna be a blowout at all. And I just see Seattle edging out the Rams, going and winning. I just see the running game being a huge part of it. I do see Aaron Donald being a big disruptor, but I do see that O-line playing better, and Tyler Lockett playing better, Doug Baldwin playing better. I just see the receiver corps being able to find a way to get open and come out with a game-winning field goal. That's really what I see. New Orleans against Chicago Bears. I see New Orleans winning. I do. I think Alvin Kamara is going to be a huge part of that. I think that defense is going to try to play, the best it can to play up to the Bears defense. But I do see Alvin Kamara being able to run the ball a lot. I do see Mark Ingram, those dual-headed running back monsters. I just see them outplaying, trying to keep it away from passing too much. But if it came down to it between Mitchell Trubisky and Drew Brees is going to be the one to win it. And I see it's going to be Seattle against New Orleans in the NFC Championship. So it's going to be Houston against the Chiefs, and it's going to be Baltimore against New England. New England's been in the championship game for I don't know how many years. I think, 5-6 years in a row, something crazy like that. But I see Baltimore beating them. I do. I really see Baltimore's defense giving the Patriots the hardest time in the world. I do see Lamar Jackson playing better, and even if he plays decent, if that defense is playing to where it's playing now, Tom Brady won't be able to do anything. He'll be pressured way too much. I just see that defense too good to not be able to beat the New England Patriots. Two teams I see being the Patriots is the Chiefs and Baltimore. So I do see Lamar Jackson playing lights out. And if he doesn't, he plays decent, they'll still win because of that defense. Tom Brady, I love the guy. I don't see why people hate him. I guess because he's a winner and he just does it in his own style, or because he's a Patriot with Bill Belichick. But I just don't see him edging out the Baltimore Ravens with that defense. I don't see enough around New England to be able to win. They're great. They'll probably be in another Super Bowl before he retires, but I do not see it happening this year. And I really hope it'll be another team. Houston Texans against Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City. I love Kansas City. I love what they bring to the table. I love Tyreek Hill, being a generational speedster. Patrick Mahomes playing lights out, probably the MVP. Even though I love Drew Brees, he's been playing crazy. Pat Mahomes has been playing crazy, and I do see him as probably the MVP. Even though I personally would give it to Drew Brees, but I just see Mahomes getting it. I just feel like the Chiefs, they can be beaten, but I do not see it happening against the Texans. I just see that offense going crazy. I just see that they're trying to change history with the Chiefs and never winning a game or being one and done. I just see them changing that whole thought process. I see the Chiefs as being one of the upcoming teams that will be in the playoffs, kind of like New England Patriots every single year. They can keep that team together. They can keep players without getting too money hungry and greedy. I do see the Chiefs beating the Houston Texans. I do see them, going to playoffs every single year, maybe being one of the top teams to play in the playoffs every single year. But I see Tyreek Hill having a huge game. I see Damian Williams having a huge game. That defense is gonna play, really really good, and I can't see Deshaun Watson. I do see him having a big game with Hopkins, but I just can't see him edging out the offensive power that the Chiefs have. And the defense is okay, but if it comes down to a shootout, I do see the Chiefs winning. So it'll be, in my prediction, Baltimore against the Chiefs, Seattle against New Orleans. So here's when it comes to what I think realistically will happen and what I believe 90 20 or like 80 20% is going to happen. So, if one team can beat the New Orleans Saints. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place. It's a pretty long video, but if one team can beat the New Orleans Saints and has the identity to do it, it would be the Seattle Seahawks. With how the defense is playing, with how the offense is going, they control the game. They love to control the game, so it'll be a close game. But realistically speaking, Drew Brees, Hall of Famer, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas, a lot of guys playing lights out for the Saints and coming off losses against the Chiefs and the Rams. I can see, this is where I'm 50-50. I can see New Orleans beating the Seattle Seahawks, just because if it comes down to it, if the Seahawks don't play it right or come off to a hot start, I do see the Saints having the possibility of winning. It'll be a close game, but our secondary isn't the best right now. They're playing really, really, really good. Our defense is playing crazy, but it's just there's a lot of firepower on that Saints team. But if Seattle can cause pressure with Frank Clark, if Bobby Wagner can do what he's been doing as a future Hall of Famer right there, they can beat him. If Chris Carson's running the ball like he's running, if Tyler Lockett's making those big plays, Doug Baldwin's being reliable, Ed Dixon, coming clutch, Vanette, all of them, Mike Davis coming in at running back, making big plays, making touchdowns, they can beat them. If they run the ball, control the clock, control the game, they can beat the Saints if they limit the amount of possessions Drew Brees has before he gets hot. So it's 50-50 for me. What would I want to happen? Obviously, Seattle Seahawks to go. What can I see happening? New Orleans barely beating the Seahawks. Kansas City, Baltimore. That defense for Baltimore, they played. It was a close game. I just see Lamar Jackson being a better quarterback. What would I want to happen? I would love to see Tyreek Hill and Pat Mahomes come out their first year together like this and get a Super Bowl ring. I would love to see a new generation of things happening. But also, I would love to see Lamar Jackson come off from winning the Heisman and coming into his rookie year, not playing, not starting, all these doubters telling him wide receiver, running back, all these other positions, but him coming into, being the youngest to ever win the Heisman, being the youngest to ever win, to ever go to start a playoff game in the NFL, to being the youngest to ever win the Super Bowl. That'd be crazy. Or starting into the Super Bowl. And I would love to see Lamar Jackson beat the Chiefs. I would also love to see the Chiefs beat Baltimore. So this would be AFC Championship game that it would be insane for me to see. Who would win? Last time they played, the Chiefs won. This time around, I believe Baltimore would win. I believe they would have a game plan to stop the Chiefs. Since losing to them last time, I do believe that they will correct what they did wrong. Lamar Jackson playing a lot better than he did then. He's been passing a lot better. He's been running a lot better. So I just see them barely beating the Chiefs. I just see it going the other way around. So, Super Bowl. I see it being Baltimore-Seattle, I think would be a really good Super Bowl. Or the Chiefs-New Orleans Saints. If it would be two teams playing each other, it'd be Baltimore, Seattle, or the Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints. And I would also love to see Seattle against the Kansas City Chiefs. But that's what I see personally. That is my bracket to the Super Bowl, guys. So let me know what y'all think. Let me know who do you think is going to the Super Bowl. Let me know why you think people are winning. Do not get mad at me. I'm not being biased. I'm giving out facts. Also, I would love the Seattle Seahawks, to play another Super Bowl, but I do know we can lose at any point in time. I do know the Rams, is going to be a close game. I do know the Saints will, there's a high possibility, 50-50, 60-40 of the chance of them beating us. I just don't see Dallas beating us. So I'm not being biased. I'm being truthful. We're the better team. And with the whole bracket, I'm giving it to you straight of what I think. So this is my thought process. Let me know your thought process down below. Hope you guys have an amazing blessed day. And go Hawks. Catch you guys later. I'll catch you guys after the win against Dallas. And if we lose, it's all good. I'll cry. But it's okay. I'll catch you guys later. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe for everything matter in NFL. I'll catch you guys later. Peace!